Hey everybody, this is my real quick lesson on 10.3. If you watched my lesson last week, it was over 10.2, and 10.2 was dealing with the area of triangles. And I gave you a formula that you also see in my sheet here that is the exact same thing, but the next lesson, 10.3, takes it a step further. Again, they ask you for the area of triangles. And now they're going to also ask you to find the base or the height when the area is already given to you. So real quick before we get into that, I just want to do a quick review problem using the area of triangle using the formula, and no pictures or diagrams have been given. So again, the area of a triangle, the formula that you have is area equals base times height divided by 2. So this practice problem that I have here, the base is 14 centimeters, the height is 8 centimeters, and we're looking for the area. So to plug our numbers into the formula, the first thing I'm going to do is take the base times the height, so that's 14 times 8. And then we're going to take 4 times 8, and that should equal 32. So the 2 is dropped and the 3 goes up. And then 1 times 8 is 8, plus that 3 is 112. Last thing that I need to do is take 112 divided by 2. So 112 is my dividend. It goes underneath the shelf, and 2 is my divisor. That's going to go outside of the shelf. And so 2 goes into 1 no times, but 2 goes into 11 5 times. And 5 times 2 is 10. And I subtract, and 11 minus 10 is 1. And drop the 2, and 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 times 12 is 6, and that gives us our stop sign as 0. So the area of this triangle is 56, and then we need to have a label of centimeters, and remember that when we're dealing with area, that label has to be squared because we're talking about how much space a two-dimensional shape can take up. So that's a quick review problem from 10.2, and you'll deal with those when we get to 10.3. So today, the new thing that you're going to be asked to do is, given the problems, you'll see that there's a couple where the area is given to you, and now you need to find either the height or the base. And in this particular problem, excuse me, the base is what's being asked to find. So I'm going to put this in formula form, and so that way you can plug the numbers in. So depending on what you're trying to find, what we have to do is take the original formula of finding the area of a triangle, which is this one, area equals base times height divided by 2. And now we're going to work backwards to get to either the height or the base. And in this case, again, it's the base. So what we're going to do to go backwards is the area is given to us, and instead of dividing by 2, which is the last step that we do to find the area of a triangle, we're going to do it first, so we're going to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So I'm going to take the area times 2, and then right here in this part of the formula, the first step that we had to do was multiply. Well, when we work backwards, the last step we have to do is do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So here in this case, what we're going to do is take the height, which is given to us, and we're going to divide by the height, and that's going to give our measurement for the base. So I've just taken this formula right here, and I'm working backwards. So I start with the area, I take it times 2 instead of dividing it by 2, and then I'm going to take that answer divided by the height, because in the original formula we multiply, so we're going to do the opposite here, and that should give us the base. So in this particular triangle, the area here is 11 millimeters. So the first thing I'm going to do is take 11 times 2, and 11 times 2 should be 22. And then what I'm going to do is do a little dividing, and the height in this case is 4 meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 22 divided by 4. And so 22 is going to be my dividend. It's going to go underneath the shelf, and 4 is my divisor. So how many times can 4 go into 2? Can't work out. So then I ask, well, how many times can 4 go into 22? And the answer there would be 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So when I do my subtraction, 22 minus 20 equals 2. Now remember with geometry, you cannot stop. There's no remainders here. What we have to do is a decimal. So if we were sitting in class, I guarantee that some of you would say, I forgot how to do this. So if you don't reach your stop sign of 0, what you do is put a decimal in your dividend, and I'm going to put my decimal up here in my quotient as well. And then I'm going to add a 0, and I'm going to drop that 0 down to make 20. So now I ask myself, how many times can 4 go into 20? And I know that answer to be 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20, and there's my stop sign of 0. So now I have 5.5 or 5 5/10, and that's going to be the measurement of my base. Now again, pay attention to labels here. We're not finding area because that's already given to us, so we don't need to have an exponent. We just simply take 5.5 or 5 5/10, and we just add on the label of meters. So that is how we get the measurement working backwards when the area is given to us. So if you were to take 5.5 times 4 divided by 2, the area of that triangle should be 11 millimeters. Sorry, I was saying meters. There you go, 11 millimeters squared. So that is how you follow that formula to get the base. Okay, the next problem then is same kind of a deal, but now the base has been given to us, and now we're going to use the height. So again, from our original formula, we have area is base times height divided by 2, where now we're going to work backwards. So again, we're going to take the area, and the last step I do in the original formula is divide by 2. When we work backwards, I'm going to find the opposite. So area, instead of divided by 2, we're going to multiply it by 2, and then we're going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And now I have the base given to me, so now I'm going to divide by the base, and that's going to give me the height of the triangle. So same thing. Starting off, what I'm going to do is take the area times 2. So I have 52 5/10 times 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. 0 down, 1's up. 2 times 2 is 4, plus that 1 is 5. And then the last step, 2 times 5 is 10. Now, I got this 1 decimal spot right here. So that has to mean 1 decimal spot in my answer. So I'm going to move it over 1. And so far, I have an answer of just 105. So I'm going to get rid of this decimal in here. And so the last thing I need to do with 105 is divide it by the base. And my base in this case is 5 inches. So 105 is my dividend, goes under the shelf. 5 is my divisor, it goes outside of the shelf. So 5 cannot go into 1, but 5 can go into 10. And I know it can go into 10 2 times. So 5 times 2 is 10. And when I do my subtraction, I know 10 minus 10 is 0. So now I drop the 5, I drop and divide, and 5 can go into 5 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5, and that gives me my stop sign of 0. So now I have a 21. So my 21 number is going to be my height, and I don't need to find area here because that's already given to me. So 21 would simply have a label of inches, and that's it. So this is the formula that you follow when you're finding height, and you can add that to your cheat sheet of formulas as we go through this next chapter. So that is what you're seeing today. That is the objective, is taking different measurements within a triangle and either finding the area or finding the base or the height. So go through those. Again, if you have questions, shoot me an email, or we can do a Zoom, whatever, and we can go through that. But that's what you're tackling for today. So again, let me know if you need some help. Hope you're having a good one. Take care of yourselves.